everybody! Welcome to the first episode of Thoroughly Honest Thursday with Steamy Leia and Capt. Phantasma.
Hi guys! Sorry for the late start. It is Thanksgiving, so I hope you guys all had a great one with your family. And we did actually get a couple of questions this week, so we're off to a great start. Our first question comes from Domingo, and he asks, did both of you grow up here in San Diego? And is there a specific store location that you all get your material for your awesome costumes from? Those are great questions. We've grown up in Southern California all our lives, and our costumes are kind of from all over the place, and not necessarily from where you'd expect.
Dollar Tree, Walmart.
Yeah, Dollar Tree, Walmart, a lot of that actually. Super glue. There's a lot of super glue and hot glue involved in our costumes. But a lot of...
But it sticks together.
Yeah, it's
Stick
put
a
together.
lick and a promise.
Lick, stick, and a promise. Yep, for sure. But a lot of the fabric for her costume actually came from Joann's. They had a sale actually on the stretchy, it's like lycra reflective fabric that we use for her costume, so of course we bought the entire roll. And now we have extra of that silver stuff, so I'm just figuring out what I'm going to put it on. Maybe I'll just make a cape for myself and wear it around the house. But speaking of capes, her cape actually, half of it is from Joann's. The outside black fabric, when you look really close, has some really pretty details. On the underside, the red that you see is actually a curtain from Walmart. And we did that because the satin really looks a lot higher quality than the satin that you can get from costume stores, where it gets all crinkly and you have to iron it, and then you can't iron it because it's plastic. So we use a lot of strange materials in our costumes. For me personally, the top bar that's actually kind of on my Slave Leia suit here, the one that I have that comes here on my costume is actually a purse strap. Because the Ruby's costume that I originally started with, the plastic piece is too small. So I had to cut it and actually splice in different pieces to make it fit a little bit more custom. I've added fabric from Joann's. I added a new bra to the top so that it actually fit properly. And I think I've changed out the corset at least 2 or 3 times now. I now wear a Mystic City corset. It's the best one out there. It really fits me nicely. I highly recommend that place for costume shopping as well as corsets.
Is that where my corset's from?
No, your corset is from Timeless Trends, and they're also very good too. Our next question is from Daryl. Why did you choose steampunk as a look for your Star Wars cosplay that you and your group perform? Was it to be more stand out from the other styles of Star Wars cosplayers, or just for fun and trying to make 2 genres meld? Also, a very good question. We have a friend in the Star Wars steampunk universe. His name is Captain Solo Secretman. And he called me up one day. He said, hey, you know, we've been asked to do promotional photos for WonderCon and Star Wars Celebration 2015. And he said, I'm trying to call up all the steampunk cosplayers I know to come up with a Star Wars steampunk sort of a look for this panel. And he said, can you come up with something in 4 days? And I'm like, oh, goodness. Sure, yeah, we can do that. And it's kind of taken off from there. So since then, it's evolved and become something new. And
her boyfriend, he's really gotten the whole household, our whole family to start loving, we all love Star Wars now. He brings over the movies, hey, let's have a marathon. So that's pretty cool.
So we had a heavy interest in Star Wars to begin with, but I've been doing steampunk for 4 years now, going on 5.
Melded together really nicely.
Yeah, it really did. And Star Wars and steampunk really feel like they're meant for each other in a lot of ways. I mean, when you look at the prequels, I know what we can say about the prequels, but even like the communicators and stuff, you look at them and if you notice the individual pieces, it's like parts from a lady's razor, and then you see some beads or buttons from something that maybe you notice. You put some spray paint on that, glue it all together, and you say, oh look, here's this contraption, it does a thing. And that's really what steampunk is all about too.
Just putting all your materials that you have together makes something amazing.
Yeah, and you tell a story with this contraption that you've made, and you say, oh yeah, here's the thing it does, this science-y stuff that it does. And that's exactly what Star Wars is. So they glued a bunch of stuff together, polished it up, they used pieces of old aircrafts and stuff in the ships, and they gave it some paint and said, oh look, it's a spaceship, or oh look, it's a communicator. And we all bought it, and it all sent our imaginations on the fly. So Star Wars and steampunk is just a really great genre, and it really just brings out a lot of imagination. So, our next question is from Christopher, and he asks, what are some specific steampunk influences on parts of your respective costumes?
Even though it doesn't really seem like it, a lot of my costume was inspired by League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and the ship.
Oh, the Nautilus.
Yeah. How it was just beautiful and silver, and it had a ton of filigree.
There was a lot of silver and white.
Yeah, it was really pretty.
And I remember that ship being, it had this feminine, artistic feel to it with all of the filigree.
That's what we made it want to look like.
But then super industrial with the rivets and such, and that was kind of the feel that I think not only your character, but also Gwendolyn Christie has in general. When you look at some of her modeling poses and her photos, she's very, very feminine. But she has this strength and this intimidation about her that is really awe-inspiring. And I definitely think, well, at least we tried to capture that in the design of your costumes. And for my costume, with the whole slave Leia thing, I kind of wanted to go with like a warrior princess kind of a feel, because in steampunk, everyone's a hero. Everyone has done this amazing thing, and they have this epic story to tell you. So for me, you know, Leia was found on the desert planet of Tatooine, and she was in this slave girl costume. Well, what if she didn't leave with Han and Chewie? What if she stayed there? I mean, she took down the hut. What if that was her goal? Maybe her goal was to take over Tatooine and kind of take it on as her own planet, because after the destruction of Alderaan, she was this princess without a planet to rule. If she could bring order to Tatooine in this tough girl kind of persona that I've taken on as Steamy Leia, I kind of felt that would be a good story for me to tell. So, you know, the costume has stayed much the same because it's Tatooine, it's hot, you know. So it's a cool costume, but then it's got some warrior attributes with the corset, the blaster, the utility belt and everything, the boots. So I really wanted to capture this story that has never been told, but I think would be an interesting story. It's non-canon, of course, but an interesting story to tell. Christopher also asked,
also, did you sketch out what you wanted your costumes to look like before putting them together?
Well, there was a sketch for your costume. Do you want to talk about that?
I didn't sketch it.
I do a lot of sketching in my free time. So basically, people will come to me with their ideas, and they'll start throwing ideas at me. And I'll start sketching in pencil. If they say, nah, I don't like how that looks, okay, then we erase it and try again. And we had worked on hers for about
a while, like a couple weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks or so. You know, putting in ideas of, okay, well, what do we have? What can we buy? What can we make? What can we glue on and call it a thing? You know.
What steampunk attributes can we put in?
Yeah. We started thinking about what the core of the character was, which was Silver Trooper. Yeah. You know, pretty straightforward. And then what small details, you know, like the cameo, the rivets, the filigree and such, that would really give it a nice steampunk look. For mine, as I stated earlier, I only had 4 days. So there wasn't a lot of pre-planning that went on. I pretty much just stuck some gears on it and called it steampunk, so sorry guys. But that was the first run.
But you've improved it since then a lot.
Yeah, I've changed
now it's not just that you've changed so much in your costume that wasn't in your original sketch.
It's true, and I've re-sketched it over the course of these last couple of months, and I'll probably re-sketch it a couple dozen more times. Because it's always a work in progress. I think the best cosplays are the ones that evolve. It keeps it more fun that way. And our next question comes from James. Hi, James. And he says, I'm in the market to buy a sewing machine of good quality. I need a robust machine that is capable of handling jean material and light leather, without too many bells and whistles. Any knowledge or suggestions in this area?
I have no idea. I don't sew. Never touched a sewing machine except bringing them down from Mom.
Well, I'll teach you one of these days. Actually, I have to say that even though I am somewhat of an amateur seamstress, I do a lot of Frankensteining with cosplays, I'm not a terribly talented seamstress, and the sewing machine that I do have is very low quality. I'd love to get a new one, but this is the one that I got because my mom replaced it with a better model. So, I use my little Singer, and it gets me through. Anything that I can't sew through, so whether it's leather, or faux leather, fur, jean material, or just a couple layers of thick brocade fabric, trust me, that stuff can be tough. I've broken many a needle on that. I usually just do that by hand because my machine will not take that. However, per your request, I have talked to some of my other cosplay friends, and they use the Singer 4423 heavy duty model. That one runs for about $121 right now, and the user rating is about 4.0 stars out of 5, so it's got a pretty high user rating, and it doesn't have too many bells and whistles. Most of the operations are still mechanical. I don't like any of that computerized stuff because too many things can go wrong. The other one is a Genome HD 1000. And this is a little bit higher scale. I don't know what your price range is, James, but this one runs for about $300 right now with a user rating of 4.1 stars out of 5. So if you're looking for a better quality machine, I'm guessing with the price it's probably higher. But I've never used a Genome. I use Singer all the time. I use Brother, but I've never used that one. You might need to get another opinion, but those are the two that I've heard from my cosplay friends are the best quality ones that perform for the prices they are. And our second to last question is, where was your first cosplay? And this question is from Dennis. Well, Dennis, my first cosplay
long time ago.
was a little bit of a ways back. I can't remember if it was 2010 or 2011, but I cosplayed as Inner Mocha from the Rosario Vampire anime. And if you've ever seen it, it's a really silly show, really fun, kind of got a Monster High sort of a feel. I was in high school, so I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. So it was an anime vampire, basically. If you haven't seen it, check it out, you'll see what I mean. It's pretty silly. And I wore it to Anime Expo at the LA Convention Center, and it was a lot of fun. If you ever get a chance to go to Anime Expo, oh my gosh, it's so much fun. It's a lot of fun, and it only encompasses things that are anime. But you see some pretty impressive cosplayers there. Mm-hmm. I will definitely give them that. What about you? What was yours?
My first cosplay was, I think maybe I think it was last year.
No, it wasn't last year, it was before that.
Yeah, maybe 2 years ago. It wasn't too long ago, but it was...
She's still really young, so it's still pretty early.
It was in Calico Ghost Town that weekend. It was like a steampunk Wild West kind of con,
it was like a Wild West weekend sort of a thing.
We all had, our whole family was just costumes, and we each had a story, and mine was kind of a mechanic who worked on airships, so that was really fun.
She wears this cool like green jumper.
Jumpsuit,
and
it was a fun cosplay.
Yeah,
had a helmet,
and it's really comfortable because it doesn't have a corset with it, does it? So, but we always thought it would be really fun if her character was like a mechanic or an engineer for airships and stuff. Not necessarily the pilot or the captain, but someone who fixes it. So,
pretty fun cosplay.
Yeah, we did a lot of steampunk cosplays actually before we did this. When people ask me, hey, what are your past cosplays? Probably about 50 to 60% of them are steampunk. So, they're mostly of my own design. Yeah.
Loved cosplaying. Each con was just a different outfit.
Oh, but it's so much fun.
Work on it for a week. So we're working on a Salmon's costume. This time we're going for a Toothless costume. Just totally different, but...
Both of which are costumes I've done. Really fun stuff. And our last question is from Richard. What is your favorite TV show that you two watch together?
You watch Walking Dead together.
Oh, never miss it.
RuPaul.
Sorry.
Spoilers. My mom,
we all knew it.
We all go to watch it, and our mom just, shh, Walking Dead's on. You can't talk now.
I think I've shushed you a couple times. I've shushed you a couple times, too. So.
We watched Steampunked together.
Yeah, I actually had a couple friends on there. Taylor's Forge, hi if you're watching this. And Ave Rose. So, you know I love you, girl. Hope you're watching this.
We watch RuPaul's Drag Race together.
Yes.
Dancing with the Stars.
Okay.
Not by Will.
She drags me into Dancing with the Stars. I like the theatrics of it,
Great
but
show.
When they all start talking, it's like, I'm kind of done now.
Well, you gotta listen to them.
So
stuff they say is interesting.
Did you say Face Off?
No.
We used to watch Face Off when it was on. I love the special effects makeup. So very theatrical. We both have some backgrounds in school theater when we were in school and stuff. We really enjoy that stuff, which is actually why we love cosplay. So thank you guys so much for your questions. Thank you for sending them in and humoring us with this thoroughly on Thursday. So I'll post another video on Wednesday asking you guys for some more questions, and if you guys have any more for us, we'll answer them for you next Thursday. Alright? See you guys around.